How's it going, guys, and welcome back to BL3's Forgotten, the series where I take a look at underused and not often talked about pieces of gear to determine whether or not they deserve to be remembered within the modern meta of the game or should be left behind and forgotten. And today we are taking a look at the Creamer. If you'd like to get the Creamer for yourself, you're going to want to fast travel over to the Spend Opticon on the handsome Jackpot, specifically taking the Vice District fast travel station. You're going to want to make your way through into the safe station right in front of Silky Soak, the area with the big rock and the trees in the middle, which is where you'll be resetting from. Carry on through and up the ramp, where you'll take a right into the Fling Spring, where as long as you've completed the One Man's Treasure main story quest, you will be able to find and kill Junpei Goat Eater, who can drop you the Creamer. The Creamer is a legendary Torgue rocket launcher, being unable to come in any elements and able to roll with 1 or 2 projectiles per shot for 1 or 2 ammo cost per shot respectively. The Creamer fires out rockets that will explode after a set distance, dealing splash damage in an area. That explosion will spawn 2 diverging rockets out from it, which will then also explode on impact. Being a Moxxi gun, the Creamer also has lifesteal on it, in this case being 100%, which is... wow, that's a lot. The Creamer has received a single buff, being an increase to that lifesteal from 10% to the current 100%. Creamer? I hardly know her. Haha, sex! I had to go ahead and double check and make sure that wasn't actually just the red text of the gun, because it really seemed like it could have been. But no, we only have 100% unique original sex jokes here on the Arachnica YouTube channel. It's what I'm known for. Iconic sex sex machine, iconic sex monster Arachnica. That's me. That's what I'm known for. That's what they call me. The Creamer is a gun that I went back and forth on for a really long time within this series, hence why it is now within the final stretch of it, but it did eventually make it in. So good on you, little buddy. I'm glad you could finally show up. I think overall, the Creamer is a gun that doesn't really get nearly as much attention as it deserves and usually gets left out of a lot of conversations surrounding launchers. I mean, I think launchers just kind of in general get a lot of undeserved shit with BL3. I'm not entirely sure why. It's probably the single best that launchers have ever been, but meta discussions surrounding launchers usually just always lands on a couple few, and I see a lot of shit talk thrown at pretty much everything else, despite nearly every single launcher in this game being incredibly good. But the Creamer also isn't totally forgotten, pretty much purely because of the funny Borsplosion build. It is an incredibly strong weapon with that build, probably one of the strongest, and because of that, whenever that build's being talked about, this is definitely far from a forgotten weapon. But I do think, for the most part, that build is the only relevancy that the Creamer really has nowadays, so it feels pretty deserving of a video. Plus, I just really fucks with it. First off though, to quickly, and I do mean quickly, compare ×1 to ×2. ×2 is just straight up significantly better, as it doesn't even drop the base damage of each projectile, it just straight doubles your damage. And being a weapon that has a single projectile that splits into 2, instead of splitting into 2 after that split, with a ×2, you're getting a total of 4. As well, of course, any other bonus projectiles that you have through the Infernal Wish playing dirty, or Flax Two-Fang, will also add an additional source of those split projectiles. And while the ×2 does bring your ammo cost up to 2 rocket launcher ammo per shot, that is still incredibly worth the damage that you're getting out of this thing. Unless you're using the Creamer on a very tight ammo budget for whatever reason, ×2 is likely going to be your best bet even without much in the way of actual rocket launcher sustain. The Creamer has very good ammo coverage, it makes very good use of your rocket launcher ammo. Most of the time you're whipping this thing out, you're really not gonna mind the 2 ammo per shot. And speaking of which, that is probably one of the single strongest aspects of the Creamer. It's got a very large splash radius on both that initial explosion and the subsequent explosions. Along with that, having that initial explosion along its flight path followed up by the later explosions, it does mean that you get incredibly solid area coverage. Guys too close to you, blow them up. The guys further away, also getting blown up with the same shot. You hit them with the bada bing and the bada boom. And goddamn is that bada bing bada boom 1-2 wombo combo fucking satisfying as hell to hit. The sound design is fucking crunchy. And I just love guns that are punchy and have that kind of like 1-2 combo feel to it. And that initial explosion to then is split into 2 more feels damn good to use and sounds absolutely incredible. It's like slamming a beer and immediately ramping my vehicle around a tree. It just sounds like a good Sunday night. But not only in that sound design and feel though, it is just a very satisfying gun to use, being a sweet spot gun where you can land both the split explosion and split projectiles on the same targets if you get the spacing down. And again, the AoEs here are very, very large, so it's not like a super tight sweet spot either. You've got a lot of wiggle room here. And I mean, for most builds and characters, this is more of a mobbing gun, and the damage it deals is good enough that you don't need the sweet spot on most enemies. But I mean, if you got something exceptionally tanky going on, if you're using maybe a build that's just generally weaker with rocket launchers, or if you are trying to use it to boss, which it can do decently well, that sweet spot gives it a lot more extra viability and versatility in how and when you can use it. And of course, not only is it just an incredibly solid weapon, it also has that 100% fucking lifesteal on it, which is obscenely overkill in terms of lifesteal, but means that it has just that much more synergy with Flak and Moze, who don't usually have a lot of access to lifesteal innately, and especially for Moze, that lifesteal makes it an amazing option for any sort of amp bloodletter build, which is, you know, a build famously good for utilizing rocket launchers. The only time I did not enjoy using the Creamer is Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain makes this almost fucking unusable on Amara. It makes the split happen so far out because of how fast the projectile speed on the Creamer already is. It getting boosted even further just sends it flying. With Heavy Rain, getting the Creamer to impact after the split is about as effective as using the Godfinger in Bloodshot Stronghold. For anyone that hasn't had their brain rotted by Borderlands 2, that means it sucks. It sucks stinky doo-doo shit, and it's like, it doesn't really do much. Overall though, the Creamer is an incredibly satisfying weapon to use. It sounds beautiful, it feels beautiful, and it is damn strong in mobbing situations with the ability to boss. I also do, of course, just have a bit of a bias towards sweet spot guns, and while this one isn't super skill expressive, having the huge AoE on it, it is still a really fun learning curve, and it feels amazing when you get that sweet spot down. The Creamer is fun, it's fucking cool, and it has 100% lifesteal on it, which is just hilarious. It definitely deserves recognition outside of being Borsplosion Pog, oh my god, I love Borsplosion, Borsplosion. Anyways, that's about do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, all that. I'll be live right after this video goes up, right here on YouTube and also over on my Twitch channel, where there'll be a link to down in the description below, and just below that is a link to my Discord server where you can come and join and hang out. But with that all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.